I'm super excited to have you guys here once again. Hello and welcome to today's Aligned Living Circle. Today's focus is nurturing alignment through connections. And this week's aspect that we're focusing on is body, or the physical element here. So let's go ahead and set our intentions. Get yourself into a relaxed position and close your eyes. Tune into your body for a moment, really feel your energy, and take a moment to just shake out any chaotic energy, just move it out of your body. It's a really good somatic exercise to just shake. And let yourself settle into that. And place your hand on your heart. And we'll take a deep breath together. And allow yourself to feel that clarity, that clearing. And we'll take another breath, but this time focus on inhaling peace and exhaling anything that's not serving you. And go ahead and breathe. All right. First of all, seasonally, where are we? What are we going through? We're currently at the peak of the winter kind of seasonal changes. We're feeling the coldest temperatures here in the Northern Hemisphere. And interestingly, today we are halfway through the period between the spring equinox and winter solstice, or right between Yule and Imbolc. And Imbolc is a pagan holiday that marks the first signs of life appearing in nature. It's celebrating that rebirth, reawakening of the natural world. And so currently we're shifting from the stillness and solitude of winter, and we're moving into the active energy of new life of spring. So let's go ahead and dive into our allies for this week. First, we have deer. And deer is a symbol of gentleness and grace. I know when I see a deer in nature, I can't help but feel this sense of peace, almost this gracefulness about them. And along with their gentle appearance, they are a reminder and a symbol of the wilderness and the mysteries beyond our human civilizations. There are a lot of stories in mythology, folklore, legend of deer luring people into the forest, usually until they're lost. And then they end up going on these unexpected adventures, usually wonderful adventures. So deer is here this week to lead us back into the wilderness of nature, as well as the untamed, authentic parts of ourselves. One interesting piece about deer that's significant for us this week is when deer are born, for the first few days, they hardly move. They stay in one spot, and the mother will stay very close, and they will nurse these young very often, constantly. And this allows for a very strong bond to build between the two of them that is lasting and really full of this gentle care. So the message here is we need to find people who nurture us, people who pour time and energy into us as much as we pour into them. True friends and family, biological or chosen, will nurture your connection, that connection between the two of you with patience and compassion. Above all else, deer is a symbol of gentleness. As we move through this week, remember to be gentle with yourself and others. Really, deer is telling us that a new, fresh perspective, a fresh energy, a shift is coming in for us. So if you feel a pull toward something, if you feel drawn to something, a new perspective, new connections, new pursuits, this is deer luring you into your new adventure. And be sure that the people you're bringing with you on this adventure are aligned with the destination and excited to see your growth along the way. So now our next ally this week is skunk. Skunks are widely recognizable, right? They're highly misunderstood. When people see a skunk, they have a really strong reaction. And we could think of this as a negative thing, but this week we're framing this as people have respect for what skunks are and what they can do. And this is part of what skunk is here to teach us, how to give respect and how to expect respect, and also how to demand respect. Skunk helps us recognize the unique qualities within us and how to assert them to others. And something about skunks, they don't get out of the way for any animal. They move at their own pace, on their unique path, true to their intentions. They're very confident in themselves and their goals. And we can learn to be confident in our path by setting strong, aligned intentions for the future that we want to build. Truly, skunks are fearless, but they are peaceful by nature. They're very calm. They move along slowly, take their time, and really spraying is a last resort. And being the peaceful creatures that they are, they always give warnings before retaliating. And this is teaching us that compassion and understanding is a wonderful way to live your life. But having firm boundaries and asserting yourself when those boundaries have been crossed is necessary for a healthy life. And something about their spraying is this isn't unpleasant, right? This isn't unpleasant, it's irritating, but it sends the message to back down, show respect, but it's not going to cause any permanent harm. It's not doing any damage. So this is symbolic for us that it's possible to be clear and direct in demanding respect without being aggressive or hurtful. And really, for a moment, I want you to notice how it feels when I say demand respect. Really tune into how that feels for you. Does that word demand feel uncomfortable or off-putting? Notice that for a second. And if that does feel uncomfortable, remember that basic respect is part of being a human. Do you show respect to strangers? Are you respectful to people that you just pass on the street? Do you show respect to your close connections, to the people that matter to you, even when they aren't at their best? And considering this, I challenge you to reflect on the term demanding respect. If you find yourself around people who don't treat you in a way that feels good, it may be time for you to start demanding some respect. Because at the end of the day, we're all deserving of respect, especially from those who you call friends and family. A key message here, a real key message for this week, comes from baby skunks. As soon as a skunk can open its eyes, it's able to spray. And this is representative of people who come into this world with a strong and intense energy. You may see this energy in your life if you're someone who in your early years found yourself to be too intense or too much for others. And I want to remind you that intensity isn't a bad thing. Intensity builds deep connections that are meaningful, lasting bonds with those who are meant for us. Intensity is a way for the universe to ensure that we don't spend time with people who are not meant for us, and that we find the right people, whether we plan to or not. It's a very unique quality for a lot of spiritual, magical people who are here to make big change. We are kind of put on the path of finding the right people whether we intend to or not. And you may also see this energy in your life if you go through cycles of being pushed away from others, feeling lonely, and then also cycles of drawing in lots and lots of connections. And this cycle of, never alone, always alone, it's a natural cycle that happens for everyone to gain and lose connections. But for some of us, it's more extreme than others. And at the end of the day, skunks are mostly solitary. And that is a reminder that it's better to lose the people that aren't aligned than to be with the wrong people. Allow those who don't celebrate your energy to leave. The people who don't rise to the occasion and appreciate your value, your unique energy, allow them to go. Because the people who are right for you, the people who are meant for you will be there. And for our tools today, we're going to be exploring the concept of intention and how to set powerful intentions for building relationships. So let's talk about intention. Intention is a key part of an aligned spiritual and magical life. Intention is what gives a direction to any spell, ritual, meditation, or even our actions in day-to-day life. It's how we put our desires out into the universe so that they can come back and manifest for us in our life. It communicates our goals, not only to the universe, but to our subconscious mind. Since setting intention is focused on a specific goal or outcome, it requires us to be clear, have clarity on what we really want. And this clarity aligns your mind with the desired outcome, which then shifts your mindset. And this new mindset will then help you take aligned, inspired action, and also to open your eyes to the opportunities that will be coming up for you to achieve your goals. Because once you set that intention, that is releasing it to the universe, and you'll get those opportunities, but often opportunities pop up and we don't see them. But when the intention is in your mind, it will become a lot more clear and a lot easier to recognize. Other than, the subconscious and working psychologically, intention is also a way to align our energy field. And that alignment with our goals, our desires, attracts them to us. It's the basics of manifestation. A well-crafted intention is set through reflection, gaining clarity on the future that we want to build, calling in our inner guidance, our intuition, and then confidently claiming that intention. So let's go ahead and take a moment to do some reflecting and some intention setting. As we get started, I want to remind you that embodying your authentic self is vital to building aligned connections. If you're not your authentic self, if you're a watered down, if you're a different version of yourself, you're attracting connections and people and relationships that are attracted to that version of you. They're not seeing the real you. And being surrounded by people who aren't like-minded, who don't see the real us, leaves us feeling very lonely, even when we have people. We can't really share our authentic joys, our struggles, our achievements. And to build relationships that are truly nurturing, we do have to embody who we really are. So let's get really clear on what we want to call in for ourselves. Our first question is, how would your most aligned connections nurture you? So thinking in the future, these connections, these relationships that we're calling in, how would they nurture you? What things would these people do to support you? And also, how will that feel for you? Our second question is, what lessons from the deer and skunk stand out most to you? Whatever aspects you feel strongest about, either positive or negative, write them down. And if you thought of something that I didn't say directly, write that down too. And then our third question is, what changes do you need to make in the way you present yourself to call in these connections? Think about the things about yourself that you hide or that you dim down around others. And then when you've journaled all of these out, below that, I want you to claim your intention, really claim it with an affirmation. So, for example, I welcome new connections into my life that nurture me, or I align myself with the people who are meant for me, the people who authentically see me, whatever feels most aligned to you. Let's dive into some practical steps that you can take to find aligned connections, because it's great to set intentions. It's very important, but it's also important to know what actions to take. So our first step, number one, is start being more authentic to your true self in small, manageable steps. So think about things that you might do. Maybe you talk quietly when you're in groups, or maybe you keep yourself from laughing too hard, a little too loud. Start to slowly shift that and take it really slow. It can be hard to make this shift, to step into yourself sometimes. And again, remember Deer's lesson on being gentle with yourself, being slow and graceful through the process. And the truth is, not everyone is deserving of your energy. Not everyone has earned the value that you bring to a relationship. So take time to start noticing all the beautiful little aspects of who you are. Start to really see them, and others will begin to see them too. Step number two is say yes to new aligned opportunities. So now that we've set intentions, doors will be opening. Things will be coming into our lives that will lead us to that outcome that we're calling in. So start meeting new people. Explore your communities, go to book clubs, meetups, find things that align with you and start taking action to achieve your goal through those opportunities. And not every opportunity is the one, the answer, but you got to start trying to find the right one. If you never say yes, it'll always be no. So our third step is to begin strengthening your boundaries. To have relationships that are truly nurturing and healthy, we have to have boundaries, even with the people we trust the most. It's important to have boundaries. So start putting small boundaries in place and building them up. And I'll give you some steps there too. Some important things to remember is when setting boundaries, you can do this by communicating when things make you uncomfortable. And really communicate this assertively, firmly, with respect. Again, with this skunk's ability to be fearless, but also respectful, also peaceful. And again, start with the people you trust, start with the people who are already safe people for you, and build up from there, because this is a process. It's an uncomfortable process. Another thing about boundaries is don't be afraid to add new boundaries in as you're going. Just because you didn't have a boundary before doesn't mean you can't have it now. Life is an ever-changing experience, and we're bound to encounter new situations that call for new boundaries. And finally, with these boundary settings, take time to nurture yourself and build confidence in your value. Lean into the people who respect you. Start noticing the ways that they care for you and the kind things they do for you, all the little things, the friendly text messages, the sending you memes, whatever it is. Start to notice those things, because these are ways that you should be nurtured. And start spending quality time with yourself too. Spend time finding that inner peace, that inner solitude, and really reflect on, those questions that we journaled about. What do aligned connections feel for you? What do they do for you? And what don't they do? And I want to say this theme this week really aligns with what we're doing in Modern Mystic Academy this week. We're learning how to craft powerful intentions and how to use those intentions in magic to create an aligned and empowered life. So if this resonates with you, the Academy is where we take these ideas even further with rituals and tools and a beautiful community to support your journey. You can join us anytime. Just reach out.